Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Well, welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio today. Of course, a very, very sad day. I don't even know what I can say today. I had a whole show planned for you, of course, but all of it seems irrelevant now, given the turn of events that has happened. Of course, Charlie Kirk has been shot and killed in Utah today. And so I thought, what am I going to do? Because my own brain is just kind of like in shock. I can't sit here and talk to you about health today. I can't sit here and talk to you about, all the things that I had planned, because my brain is just, obviously consumed. I'm thinking of his wife and thinking of his 2 small children. And I just, I guess what I can do is give you a platform. And so that's what we're going to do today is if you have comments you want to share, this is the place to do it. I want to read your comments, send them in on the chat, text them in on my text line, 720-303-8868. We are going to go to some, live coverage. It's just been announced, I think, within the last few minutes that he did indeed pass away. After reviewing the disturbing footage, I have to say I was hopeful, and I thought there was possibility. There's always a possibility for a miracle, always. And so I had hoped, I'd prayed for a miracle for him. But that was some incredible footage, and obviously a trained marksman who made that shot. And it seemed like something that not very likely to come back from when I watched it. And so, we were all waiting for the news. I think, I can't imagine what goes down in that time frame, from the moment he was hit until getting him to the hospital, and just the chaos, right, that goes down during that time. So I can understand, wanting to not make any announcements and just kind of like trying to hold things together, but it seems like to me that President Trump was actually the one that made the announcement on his Truth Social account that he has indeed passed away. And I don't have words, for what's going on in this country, in the world these days. But the intolerance for one another's opinion is, I don't know how much further it's going to go. Just in my own experience, obviously, Charlie Kirk had this massive impact on especially young people. That seemed to be his target audience there. And a smart way to target, I feel like just following him on social media and watching his work through the years, that it was very important to him to connect with young people and to raise the standard of morals and values and belief system in the country. Not an easy thing to do in today's culture. Everyone's fighting against that. Anything goes, you can be a cat, you can be this, you can be that. And it's a very brave human being to be able to go out in public places, on public stages, in open spaces, and have these conversations with people. And obviously very emotionally intelligent, being able to, control anger. I mean, some of the clips I've seen over the years from Charlie Kirk, he's been called horrific things, right? Horrific things. And he always handled it with grace, was able to continue to say what he believed. He never backed down. That's for sure. He never backed down. But it seemed like to me, he always handled everything with such grace. And that's a really wonderful model that we have. And he's going to be very missed. My phone is just going crazy here, so I'm going to go ahead and mute this because I can't do both things at once. So I think what we'll do is we're going to go to some live coverage. If we can, let's see, because I've seen some mainstream coverage on the left side, which I'm not even going to play here because it made me sick. I don't know if you saw it, but right off the bat, the left MSNBC was reporting that it was likely somebody celebrating in the audience that shot their gun off up in the air in celebration. Like, I don't know who these people, like the left thinks that conservative people are, but it's like the strangest persona that they've created on those ridiculous outlets that can't be called news anymore. I don't know what you call them, BS, I guess is what you call them. But like, it is the strangest thing that to think that like, oh yeah, conservatives, we just walk around with our guns and we bang, bang in the air, I don't know how stupid you have to be to believe that. How stupid do you have to believe to believe that kind of stereotypical, weird projection of a conservative? I don't know, but apparently people still believe it. That's exactly the type of rhetoric and propaganda that pushes division between people to the point of which we're at now. It was first reported, I think, that the shooter was caught, and now it's being said that no, that person that they thought was the shooter wasn't. So at this point in time, as I understand it, we do not have a shooter in custody. So we do not know who did it. And we do know that Charlie Kirk has left this earth, though. Let's go to some live coverage, Jason, if we can get to some live coverage, and maybe you can update me on things that have been happening, if there's any new news. But let's go to Fox News.
Yeah, you know what? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Let's we got a couple more minutes before break, and then when we come back, we'll start bouncing it around to some of the live coverage. Does that work?
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments in the chat? Mine is going off here like crazy, so I'm going to go to my text line. And
yeah,
Jim,
we'll go to text lines, and we'll go to the chats. The chats are going nuts right now, so we'll go to the chats, and then I may open up for the phone lines. We'll have to see if we will do that and get callers in. But yeah, in the meantime, We'll hit a break about 3:16, and then we'll get into some live coverage. I also want to mention there was a shooting at Evergreen High School about an hour ago. 2 kids were shot here in Colorado.
Something's going on today. Something is going on today, that's for sure. So this is from Jim down in North Carolina. He says, prayers for the Kirk family. Charlie was a stand-up icon for the moral youth out there. But he was a threat to the liberal, amoral left bent on destroying the foundation of society, the family. It would appear so, definitely. I think, I don't, Jason and I talk about this all the time. And we were recently in Massachusetts, and I'll tell you, there was a noticeable difference down there. And in the way that there was a lot of trans women. I always get it wrong, you guys. If you're a man dressing like a woman, there was a lot of people like that there. And, a lot of I saw some like really burly men with calves, the size of my waist, wearing dresses and whatnot down there. And, you got to wonder, it's a number of things, right, that contributes to this. And I'll just tell you what I think. Like, I think it has a lot to do with the chemicalization of our food. I think it has a lot to do with the chemicalization of our water. Actually, last night, we had a call with a water specialist on, and our tap water is full of birth control. It is full of pharmaceuticals. Now, I'm not saying that's the only cause, because clearly there's a culture shift. But man, something is happening, and I think we better stand up and protect what's morally right. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. Did you know that medicinal mushrooms are excellent for pets? Take our preferred pet health products for joint health, skin health, antioxidant protection, cell health, anti-aging benefits, gut health, liver support, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure support, brain health, anxiety relief, respiratory health, endurance and strength, anti-fatigue, and much more. Available in easy-to-take treats, great tasting gravy, and our pet food blends.
Since adding mushroom dog food to my dog's diet, I've noticed a huge improvement in his energy and coat health. He's like a puppy again, even at 10 years old.
After starting my care on mushroom super sauce, her immune health and digestion have noticeably improved. She's more playful, and her fur has never looked shinier.
Learn how to get free shipping and how to join our monthly mushroom call. Text Tammy with questions or to order at 720-303-8868. Visit naturalinspiredradio.com/mushroom. That's naturalinspiredradio.com/mushroom.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturalinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturalinspiredradio.com.
It would appear social media is exploding. People are very, very upset, of course, rightfully. As conservatives, we feel attacked. I mean, and it's everywhere. You know, we all deal with it all the time. I was just talking to my son this morning who worked late last night. And he was talking about just some interaction that goes on with some of his, his work. And there's this demand for him to use, pronouns in certain places where he works. And he doesn't do it. He just, they go around the circle and they say, "Hi, my name's so-and-so, and I'm she, he, or she, her, or whatever. I'm Zer, or whatever." And my son just goes, "Yeah, I'm Mateo." He refuses to do it. And I don't blame him. It's ridiculous. And nobody gives him any flack except for, of course, one Zer. One Zer doesn't like that and has, complained about it a little bit, but my son just ignores it. But, the question is, if we're supposed to be so tolerant of your Zer and change the way we do things, but there's no tolerance in return. Can you not just accept that we live our life differently and we go by visual cues and we can tell who's a boy and a girl, and that's the way we live our life. Can you not accept that? But yet you're demanding acceptance from us. So, this is what Charlie Kirk stood for. He stood for your right to be able to be who you are, and not infringe on other people's rights and make them change to your liking, which also a lot of the times changes with the wind, right? Today I'm Caesar. Tomorrow I'm this. I'm a cat. I'm a dog. Like, we can't do this, right? We have to have a foundation of normalcy that we all adhere to. I always say, it's kind of like, what if everybody just gave up on traffic lights and said, yeah, red doesn't mean stop anymore. Green doesn't mean go. To me, green means stop and red means go. What would happen, right? We'd have absolute chaos. We'd have car pileups. We'd have a lot of problems. That's what I'm talking about when I say we need just the basic foundations that we can agree upon, because if we don't, then society is lost. And that's what Charlie Kirk stood for. And he was proud of his values and beliefs. And it's hard to find that nowadays, that people will just speak out about what they truly believe because you fear this kind of retribution. Let's go to Fox News now. Jason tells me Jesse Waters is on. Let's see what they're saying over there.
They had things like the Professor Watch List initiative that would try to find a way to root out professors that were discriminating against conservative views or promoting just liberal ideologies. That's really an incredible thing for somebody that young.
Yeah, he would smile if I said that he was the greatest community organizer in American history, but he is. I mean, you name the chapters and the amount of people that he inspired at that level. He is credited with sometimes winning Arizona last election. And what he did on the ground in places like Michigan, the president owes him big time. And the president is obviously incredibly grateful. He's so much more than a campus guy. I mean, this guy was walking in the halls of power for the last several years. He had huge amounts of input on policy. One of the greatest communicators of the generation, tight with the president, with Vance, with Don Jr. It can't be understated how big of a figure he was in this movement. And the fact that they took out a lieutenant with a bullet makes me so angry. And Greg is so right. Two men, Breitbart and Kirk, were taken way too early. And it feels like a piece of America was taken.
I thought the same thing
loved this country
about Breitbart.
So much. He dedicated his entire life to this job. Charlie never took vacation. I never knew him to take vacation.
I thought the exact same thing that, Breitbart, we lost Breitbart, and we've lost Charlie Kirk, and, so many. So this will absolutely have an impact on people's choices as we continue to see such violence in the world. And that's the sad thing to me. Immediately when something like this happens, you think of, where are my kids, right? Are my kids near a campus today? Like, where are my kids? We immediately think of that. And then there's going to be a huge backlash, of course, because of gun violence, right? You're going to have the left using this and saying, well, it serves him right because, he advocated for gun rights and he ended up being killed by a gun. It'll be used and weaponized, no doubt about it. But it's going to impact people's willingness to put themselves out there as well. And that might not be something that everybody talks about. But I'll tell you, as someone, just a small little thing that I do here, it It hits you with an impact when you're censored. It hits you when people you don't know say terrible things about you. And even when people you do know say terrible things about you, simply because you express your opinions. And I've been a person that has always said there's no such thing as hate speech. There is no such thing as hate speech. There is only speech that you don't like. And there's lots of speech I don't like. There's grotesque speech. There's, appalling speech. There is, but we can't forget, going back to the foundation that we need to function off of, right? We can't forget that words are just words and that they don't actually, kill anybody, or they're not violence. And that our silence is not violence. You see, because when we get in this dicey vocabulary type of conflict, it's very hard to make decisions and to even give people consequences for what they do, right? Because Charlie was killed for his words. He was killed for his words. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't rape anybody. He didn't, attack anybody. He didn't kill anybody. He wasn't a child molester. He wasn't, he was killed for his words. And that is because we've allowed our society to be twisted and contorted using words that aren't true, like hate speech. Silence is violence. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Silence is silence. It's the lack of noise, Silence is not violence. It is just silence. And words, there's a lot of words we don't like. There's a lot of words we don't agree with, but it is not hate. Right? There's no such thing as a hate crime. It's an expression. Your words are an expression. They may sound hateful, okay? But it's not a crime to speak words. Nobody gets to decide, how we categorize words for everybody. You don't get to decide that for everybody. And yet there is increasingly a group of people that thinks that they do. And our media fuels this. And our culture of, it's a cult. It's a real cult, right? Culture, real cult. They throw gasoline on the fire every chance they get. And they misuse words. They say things like, he's committing hate crimes. That's hate speech. They reinforce those ideas. And what that does is it drums up emotion in mentally unstable people, and they feel justified in their actions. When we come back, I want to check in with InfoWars. I want to see what they're saying. And I want to check in with some of your comments now. I'm going to go back to my text line during the break and see who's texted in. You got something to say? Express it here. This is Naturally Inspired Radio, 720-303-8868. We'll be right back.
Are achy joints holding you back? Are you tired of stiffness slowing you down? It's time to restore with Joint Restore Gummies from Prosper CBD. These delicious strawberry-flavored gummies aren't just tasty. They're designed to soothe joint discomfort, promote flexibility, and help you move freely again. No more messy creams or bitter pills. Just one gummy a day to get you back to doing what you love. Best of all, no prescription needed.
My husband was headed towards knee surgery, and I was having hip pain. A friend recommended these. We tried them, and they worked great. We noticed a difference right away.
Right now, Prosper Wellness is offering a special deal, so don't wait. Go to jointrestore1.com jointrestore.com. That's jointrestore1.com. Grab your Joint Restore gummies today. Be sure to use the promo code TAMMY, TAMMY, for 20% off your order.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
Did you know that detoxing daily can help remove up to 70% of the toxins in your body? Let me share 3 real stories about how Greska's C60 has helped people feel their best every day. John from Denver, Colorado says,
I've always struggled with seasonal allergies, but since I started taking Greska C60 every day, my symptoms have significantly improved. I don't feel congested or tired all the time. It's been an amazing daily detox for my body, and I feel so much more energized.
Emily from Portland, Oregon says,
As an athlete, I was looking for a way to keep my body clean and detoxed. Greska C60 has been a great addition to my routine. I feel less bloated and I feel more clear-headed. Plus, it's helped me with occasional muscle stiffness and aches after intense workouts.
Visit c60.com or call 720-600-6040 today to start your own journey. Use promo code TAMMY at checkout for a special discount.
This is Trump's statement on Truth Social. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. And that is Trump's statement. Going on Twitter here, I can see that, there's some footage of a man being let out in handcuffs from the scene. And that is not the shooter from what I understand now. This is from a couple of hours ago. Someone has posted that. I think it's been determined that that guy is not the shooter now. Jason, he was only 31.
Yeah, they're saying the shooter is still at large. That guy is not the shooter. And it's being reported on Citizen Free Press. For some reason, InfoWars is just kind of running commercials. A lot of places are just running kind of commercials. So I'll check in with them when I can and kind of get some live coverage. Fox is about the only one right now that I'm seeing. But the guy was not the shooter. Shooter is still at large.
Okay. Some of the comments that we're seeing on social media here is, conservatives are very angry. People are talking about making threats and whatnot. I understand everybody is upset and emotional and, I don't know how much people can take, but I do feel like conservatives have been targeted. I mean, think back, you guys, to COVID when people were getting their bank accounts frozen. Banks were refusing to do business. I mean, we even had one of our pay platforms shut down. We did, so I can't imagine some of these bigger targets of conservatives that got their pay platforms discontinued, taking things. Do you remember Parler when Parler was really just booming, and because it was a place where all conservatives were going because they were getting kicked off of Twitter and getting kicked off of Facebook. And so everyone was piling into Parler. And what they did is they essentially took Parler off the Apple Store, so you couldn't download the app. And that essentially stopped Parler, you know? And so it's been no secret that that conservatives have been targeted for quite some time. And I always say this, you know, the thing about conservatives is we tend to be self-sufficient and we tend to be more independent in nature. And so we do our own thing and we get to work every day and we do what we got to do and we take care of ourselves. But a consequence of that actually is that we didn't have a ready-made community when COVID hit. It was like, okay, we have our circle of friends, but like as far as like wider community, we really didn't have one. A lot of us don't like groups because that's our nature. You know, we have friends and we have our circle or whatever, but we're not, you know, involved in a lot of community groups. And that was why part of the reason why we started Naturally Inspired. As after COVID, we realized, oh my gosh, we need community. Because when they shut down your paywalls, when they close your bank accounts, when they won't put you on Facebook, they don't let you go to all the places because of your belief system, you're on your own. And guess what? You need community. You need community to be able to survive. And so no doubt, you know, conservatives have been targeted for a long time now in this country. And I don't know what will come out of this, but I understand the frustration. I understand the feelings of wanting to retaliate and whatnot. But of course, that's not the way, because all that's going to do is make things worse, right? Make things worse on conservatives and give them an excuse to hammer down even harder on our freedoms. Trump has ordered flags at half staff in memory of Charlie, and that's a new development. And we're going to go to Fox News right now and see what they're talking about. Here it is.
I'll do an event in somewhere else, or go here or go there. But I'm an indoor cat, you know. And Charlie's the reverse. Like, I would say 80 to 90% of what he did was out there, outside, which meant he often had his back to people. He was never armed. He was out there, and he did that. He probably knew that he was vulnerable, but you know, he had faith. And I get the sense that maybe these outdoor events are going to become a relic of an earlier time, especially with things like drones, and self-driving cars. And, you know, I mean, I know when I get home, my wife is going to say, "You're not doing that thing. You're not going to that thing." You know, she's going to say it. I'm going to have to say, "No, everything's fine. We're good." I'm supposed to do a turning point event. I don't know when it is. It might be December, and I'm sure. Well, I'm going.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know.
But we have to think about these things, unfortunately, Jesse.
Yeah, so he wasn't doing them in auditoriums because he had so many people coming, and you couldn't fit them in a school auditorium. So he'd do them out in the quad or somewhere like this. And it's kind of what you see is what you get. Like, come at me. I'm not afraid. Bring it on. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. You say what you're going to say. We'll have a good time, and I'll go on to the next campus. And that's what he did. And so we're hearing also from the New York Times that the shooter fired a round from a building which was at higher elevation and shot down 200 yards away, which was only 50 yards farther than the Butler assassin. And so, again, this is a pot shot with any sort of high-powered rifle. And if you look at the geography around the area, you can just walk down from that building, get in your vehicle, and you could be in the mountains in 10 minutes. You could be at the airport in Provo in 5 minutes. I'm a little worried that this manhunt is going to go on for a long time, because if they don't have this guy now, there is no telling where he or she or they could be.
Harold?
I agree with you, Jesse. It is. I was hoping that Paul maybe he can react to that, and we'll react to that a little later. The university first reported this was 200 yards away. I'm sure we'll get more and more details about why they detained the first person. But I know you pray that you're wrong, that this guy or this person or this group of people were able to get away. I end where I started. We are in a terrible, terrible place. The intervention need, I heard someone say earlier, and a friend texted me a little while ago about how Charlie used words and not weapons, and he disagreed with him on a lot of things, and he knew him as well. And how the country, we're going to have to wrestle with the fact as we get through these next 2 or 3 days here, next 24 to 48 hours, and learn more about what happened. This intervention the country needs around our politics is more urgent than it's ever been.
Absolutely. I mean, I said the same thing here. It's going to change the way people do events. And how do I know that? Because I thought about it immediately. I thought about it immediately. At the second year of the Naturally Inspired Health Summit, we had an opportunity to bring in Bobby Kennedy as he was campaigning, and just that opportunity, he wasn't able to make it in the last days. Just too many things going on, but the amount of prep that we were going to have to do just to have him there, and I thought, wow, all because he talks about real health. I worry about Bobby Kennedy all the time because of the changes he's making. And he's going straight up against the pharma cult. And let me tell you, you don't mess with pharma cult. You don't mess with them. I played you a clip yesterday of, they're talking about Pfizer. It was Scott Gottlieb, the director of Pfizer. You could see the worry on his face. And what did they put up on the screen on that mainstream television? If it wasn't Pfizer stocks, if it wasn't pharmaceutical stocks. This is a dangerous game, people. And, now look at it. You think everyone was mad at Bobby. Why didn't you go in there and change things and kick down doors and get that mRNA? It's not possible, you guys. America's a corporation. There's contracts, there's negotiations. Gosh, I pray for every conservative leader right now, because it is heating up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. Did you know that medicinal mushrooms are excellent for pets? Take our preferred pet health products for joint health, skin health, antioxidant protection, cell health, anti-aging benefits, gut health, liver support, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure support, brain health, anxiety relief, respiratory health, endurance and strength, anti-fatigue, and much more. Available in easy-to-take treats, great tasting gravy, and our pet food blends.
Since adding mushroom dog food to my dog's diet, I've noticed a huge improvement in his energy and coat health. He's like a puppy again, even at 10 years old.
After starting my care on mushroom super sauce, her immune health and digestion have noticeably improved. She's more playful, and her fur has never looked shinier.
Learn how to get free shipping and how to join our monthly mushroom call. Text Tammy with questions or to order at 720-303-8868. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com/mushroom. That's naturallyinspiredradio.com/mushroom.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
My chat here on my text line, just getting lots of prayers. Prayers for Charlie's family. It's from John. Conservatives are constantly being attacked. That's from Dan. Prayers. Lots of people just expressing, prayers for the family. Of course, he's got 2 small children and a beautiful wife, and 31 years old, and brilliant guy, very smart, new. I mean, it's hard to build a business in this country these days. It's hard to pierce through the noise in order to build a business because there's so much noise, especially online. It's really hard to stand out. And I'm sure, Charlie had connections and whatnot, but man, it's still hard work to build a business. Let me tell you, it is hard. And clearly he built a very successful one, and one with meaning and purpose. Changing people's opinions and exposing people to ideas that he believed were the right ideas. And that should be okay in America. That's, if you think it's not okay, then you don't belong here. You don't belong here if you think it's not okay for everybody to be able to express their opinions. Like I said, you don't have, here's the wonderful thing. Here's the wonderful thing about crappy ideas. A lot of time, nobody likes them, and they kind of fade away. Unless, of course, they are put on repeat and channeled into your home every day. And then we get into something else called brainwashing, right? Where you hear something, a repetitive message over and over and over again. And then you start messing with legislation and rules and mandates and all that stuff. And people are forced to comply, which is what we've seen with the cult, right? Oh, the diversity committees are here, cancel culture, all of that stuff. When in reality, bad ideas have a tendency, if you don't support them through the infrastructure of a country or the infrastructure of a culture, if you don't support them, then they kind of just peter out. And that's the thing about bad ideas. So, but when they're backed by government and by infrastructure and by powerful money that controls mainstream media, this is the kind of things that happen. There's an update on the Evergreen High School shooting. So they confirmed that 3 students are critically injured, including the suspected shooter, following a shooting just after 12:30 p.m. at Evergreen High School. I believe Evergreen is kind of a higher higher end neighborhood, isn't it, Jason? I don't know much about Evergreen, but I believe that's not, that's a pretty fancy area.
It is. So Evergreen High School, I believe, is where South Park guys are from. In Evergreen High School, I believe, still in Jeffco County, which was not too far from Columbine. And I'll have to look up the date of when Columbine had happened. But yeah, it's in the area. So they're saying about 100 police officers are out there right now. None of them have made any shots themselves, but I guess the shooter is arrested, or shooter is in the hospital, and then the 2 people that are injured, all 3 critically injured. So I'm not sure what happened with the shooter yet. Very, very little info on that, but yeah, a lot happening. 9/11, of course, tomorrow. So I'm not sure, what the situation is going on right now in preparation for tomorrow, or what's going to happen. So
Columbine was April 20th.
Okay, April 20th.
April 20th, 1999.
Oh, that's right, April.
But I kind of half-heartedly keep my eye on astrological stuff, and I understand there was like a weird moon recently that was supposed to end tonight, I believe. So there was a lot of predicting going on about events and whatnot from the 7th to the 10th, I believe. Again, something to consider. I don't know. I don't know what it means, but I know that there was a lot of that. Let's see what else is going on. I know Glenn Beck was talking about the fact that his kids were actually there in Utah, and they were right by the tent with Charlie Kirk. So he was really broken up about what was going on. He had hope. The last I saw, he had hope that Charlie may make it, and I don't know if he's posted anything else since then, because the last thing I think he posted was that he was getting stabilized, that he still had a pulse. And of course, we now know, doesn't look like Glenn has posted anything recently. But his kids were there. And of course, here go the leftists, looks like the shooting of Charlie Kirk was a random event, and the other thing I saw was that, Charlie Kirk promoted hate speech. And so, when you promote hate speech, I guess you deserve what you get. I don't really know. I don't really know how the left is going to paint it. But I'll tell you, Charlie Kirk was very outspoken and talking a lot about the young woman that was killed on the train in North Carolina, stabbed and killed just days earlier. And it's wild to think that he was, talking about that very incident, I guess, when he was shot himself. So, yeah, I mean, your brain, it's hard to even make sense of it. Should we go to Fox News and see if they have any new developments? Of course, J.B. Pritzker looks like from the Pritzker family, which is deep pharmaceutical ties. Pritzker, J.B. Pritzker, a real hater of Real Health Solutions. He's saying that Charlie Kirk being shot is all President Trump's fault because of January 6th and whatnot. So, there's going to be a lot of just grasping at straws, trying to make sense of it from the left. And there is no sense to be made of it because it's criminal. And that's all there is to say. It's a crime. It's a crime. Murder was committed, and it was absolutely senseless because a man was killed for his words. For his words. Let's go to Fox and see what they're saying.
We don't know, and that could have been trans, it could have been MAGA, you don't know, and we can't speculate, but we will find out when they catch this goon.
I think that right before we go to Charlie Kirk, I was going to just mention that one of the things that makes you think it could have been planned is that because it's a big event, you have to announce it weeks, maybe months in
Right,
advance. Like,
true.
you know that your event is in December.
Yes,
So
yeah.
there's plenty of time
Well,
to
they
try
have
to
had
do
a
that.
thing
And
on
they don't
campus.
have presidential level Secret Service. Well, neither did former President Trump before he won again in Butler. Charlie Hurt, you were most recently, I believe, guest hosting Fox and Friends
Indeed.
Weekend with Charlie Kirk, and get your thoughts. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, and actually a group of us had a hunting trip set up for a couple of weeks from now, and I think he was going to try to make it as well. Obviously on a personal level, this is just incredibly shocking and sad, but also on a very, on a national level, it's a cataclysmic day to think about the fact that, as you all have pointed out, I mean, Charlie Kirk was shot because of his efforts to speak with good faith and debate with people in good faith.
Sounds like we lost the feed there, maybe, but that's exactly right. He was shot and killed for his words. He was shot and killed for his words, what he was speaking, and that if you don't like what somebody says, then don't listen, and if you think you're so right, then dive into your own work. I just think that is the best solution. If you're frustrated by what other people are saying, the answer is more speech, and it's up to you to be able to express yourself. Put yourself out there. If you really can't stand that's what I did. Way back in 2019, I felt compelled because I saw the carnage that the medical model was causing. It's killing people, and I knew it. And I just couldn't sit back and watch it anymore. So I went to work, and I built a platform and started talking about this stuff. That's how you deal with frustration, not through violence, obviously. Gosh, I still can't really believe it. Charlie Kirk is dead. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Nearly 40% of Americans struggle with a $400 emergency expense. An extra $300 a month can be the difference between stability and financial stress.
Are you feeling the pinch of rising expenses? Imagine what an extra $300, $500, or even $1,000 a month can do for you. Introducing a simple 3-step system designed to help you create a steady income without the overwhelm. Step 1, follow our easy-to-use plan. Step 2, take small, consistent actions. Step 3, stay motivated with weekly coaching designed to keep you on track and moving forward. Whether you're saving for a family vacation, paying down debt, or just looking for breathing room, this system is for you. You don't need special skills, just the desire to make change. Join a growing community of success stories today. Visit simpleincome.info or text 720-764-7448.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back to hour 2 of Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm so glad you're joining us today. It's September 10th, 2025, and we're doing the show a little bit different today. Of course, had a show planned, and we were going to talk about health and all that, but it just feels so kind of surreal and irrelevant to be talking about health today with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Of course, a 31-year-old father of 2 and husband, and a very influential leader in the conservative movement. Many people accredit him to helping President Trump in this last election with his success. Still, I don't think it's really sunk into me that he was killed today, just out in, broad daylight. It is just... It's kind of unbelievable, even though, we've seen this type of thing before. And one of the things that I was thinking about was I was watching some of the footage here of the guy who they initially thought, right? So the first reports that came in when Charlie, first of all, there's very graphic footage of the exact moment when Charlie's life was taken from him. And when I saw that, I thought, well, I'm praying for a miracle, but that does not look good. It's very graphic. And the second thing I saw, though, pretty soon afterwards, was the fact that they got the shooter already, and that the shooter was an older man in shorts, and they did a bit of a perp walk with this guy. They got him in handcuffs, and they're carting him away. And from what I understand, the guy was saying, "Shoot me, shoot me." Now, it was a very similar type of scene, with other assassins. I'm thinking of Jack Ruby, same type of thing, same type of scenario. Jason, what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, it's true for sure. So when they got the guy, I thought, right away, I was like, there's no way. Because I saw the guy and they had him in handcuffs or whatever, and he had fallen to the ground and they had to pick up his feet. It seemed like it was just like this kind of drama type situation. Yeah. And there was people cussing at him, right, of course, and telling him he was going to rot in hell and all that stuff. And then when they were walking him out and getting into the police cars, he was saying, "Shoot me, shoot me." And, and so I was just like, man, there's no way that that they caught the shooter right away. There's no way. First of all, that had to have been a pretty far shot. And I don't know. He just didn't seem like he was hidden. Number one, he just didn't seem like he was the shooter, right? Mm-hmm. And so,
do we know if there's any reports from people in the crowd? Have we seen anything like that yet?
No, I haven't seen anything, but it's very hard because I've been bouncing around to try to find info. Twitter has some good stuff on there, but of course everybody's getting into a lot of some crazy topics there. And I don't know if I want to bring them up on the show quite yet. Maybe we could talk about them tomorrow or later in the week. But it just seems like, number one, of course, that the guy's wasn't the shooter. It seemed like it right away. Number two, people are saying now that Charlie was dead almost instantly, right?
Yeah. And that was my assessment. Yeah. Based on the footage. I mean, you always want to have hope, but his carotid artery was destroyed.
Yeah, it's sprayed out. And there was a lot of different theories, but I think everybody was kind of hopeful that maybe it was a little bit lower and not in the neck area. Mm-hmm. And, there was a lot of theories out there, but now they're saying that he was pretty much gone, right away. But they were really trying to do their best to revive him. Last I heard, he was in a helicopter and he was on their way. And then Glenn Beck and some of those guys were saying, "Oh, he's stable. But I don't know if, I don't know if that was the case, right? You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of information they were getting. Mm-hmm. So it's just unfortunate. But yeah, InfoWars is up. Fox kind of cut out. There's not much really out there. I'm going to keep looking and kind of see, and then maybe we could bounce to some other some other live coverage, maybe on Newsmax or
the BBC. It's being reported that the BBC is actually laughing on air.
Okay.
Charlie Kirk dies in Utah, and the voice of Joy Chaney says that they're actually laughing on air. And this is one I predicted. Charlie Kirk, who advocates for guns everywhere, got exactly what he deserved. Didn't I call that one just a few minutes ago? I knew that was coming.
Yeah, a lot of the news out there right now is doing kind of a remembrance. So a lot of the news on the right, RSBN, a lot of those media companies are just doing kind of a remembrance, remembering Charlie, kind of talking about the positives and everything. I haven't even touched the left media yet because I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
Yeah, and there's lots of garbage coming out of the left for sure. Basically, he got what he deserved. Now there's somebody speculating, and again, this is speculation, that there was a man spotted on the roof near the Charlie Kirk event. So that would mirror what we saw with, Trump's assassination attempt, someone coming in from the roof. And, I'm glad to see a lot of conservatives speaking out, saying, pointing out that Charlie Kirk was shot and killed for his words. Because I think that's really important. That really resonates with me, especially because, I tend to say things that a lot of people don't agree with, and it's about health. But the reason why I say it is because I believe it's true. I see the reality of it. And yet, it makes people very upset. So I don't know, when I hear these people talk the way they talk, about their pronouns and about their way of life, I just kind of shake my head like, well, that's crazy. But you do you, I don't subscribe to them on social media. I don't, enrage myself by watching them all the time. And so it's kind of puzzling to me that, a lot of these leftists, they're very plugged in to what conservatives do. They're very plugged into things that they don't like. And it's almost like that's an addiction to them, to get that kind of, you've met people who are addicted to drama. It seems like no matter who they're seeing or where they are, it's like drama. They're addicted to drama. And I think that's what these people must do, because I'm aware of what goes on the left. I'm aware of what goes on mainstream media, but it doesn't hype me up, because I just think, wow, that's crazy. I have a hard time understanding your belief system, but you go ahead and do it, and I say that here all the time as well. Like, I would never want to take people's drugs away from them. I don't believe that government regulating your drugs away from you or banning them from you is the way forward. I think it's about freedom. And I think that was in large part what Charlie Kirk stood for as well, is the freedom to speak, right? And it can't be forgotten. I think a lot of people will demonize him, and say, well, he said this or he said that. I don't care. I don't care what he said. I don't care what he said. It is just irrelevant, because they are words. Again, they are words, and we have to get back to reality here. My words may hurt your feelings, but they are not causing you physical harm. And we can't allow people to hijack our vocabulary and make up terms like, silence is violence. It's ridiculous. We have to have a foundation to build society off of. And the truth is, you can't commit murder with your words. You can't commit violence with words. We need a huge reality check for some of these people that feel like it's totally okay for them to lash out in violence because of words. It is, again, September 10th, and Charlie Kirk is dead. And that's what we're talking about here today, because I can't imagine really talking about anything else. Put your comments in the chat. We'll get to them. Love hearing from you. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. Did you know that medicinal mushrooms are excellent for pets? Take our preferred pet health products for joint health, skin health, antioxidant protection, cell health, anti-aging benefits, gut health, liver support, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure support, brain health, anxiety relief, respiratory health, endurance and strength, anti-fatigue, and much more. Available in easy-to-take treats, great-tasting gravy, and our pet food blends.
Since adding mushroom dog food to my dog's diet, I've noticed a huge improvement in his energy and coat health. He's like a puppy again, even at 10 years old.
After starting my care on mushroom super sauce, her immune health and digestion have noticeably improved. She's more playful, and her fur has never looked shinier.
Learn how to get free shipping and how to join our monthly mushroom call. Text Tammy with questions or to order at 720-303-8868. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com/mushroom. That's naturallyinspiredradio.com/mushroom.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Reading some stories here about Charlie Kirk. There is one here that I think is poignant that I'd like to share. It's from a young man, Chandler Crump, on X. He said, Charlie Kirk changed my life. I attended Turning Point USA's Young Black Leadership Summit in October 2018. I was 14 at the time, but Charlie told me it didn't matter how young I was, I could fight alongside him in this movement. From then on, I attended every Turning Point conference every year from 2018 to 2025. I grew up in this movement. I became the person I am today because of the inspiration from Charlie Kirk and his organization. I will never be the same without him, and this country will never be the same either. He was a husband, a father, a man of God, and a visionary for our nation. So those are some words, living a purposeful life. Somebody said, I think on Fox News, as we played earlier, that, Charlie never took a vacation. Well, that's kind of what happens when you do what you love. You don't want to take vacations because you're so, You're so passionate about what you do. And it's a real blessing to be able to do what you love to do. And I think that Charlie definitely loved what he did, and he impacted many, many lives. There's other reports now coming in about the shooter on the roof. Apparently the shooter was all dressed in black, and there was some eyewitnesses that recorded someone on the roof. So there's multiple reports of that now. Just some comments I'm getting from my text line here is that they killed a 31-year-old father of two whose only crime was speaking to people in good faith. And those people disagreed with him. That was his crime. It's true. And that's a scary place to be. And then there's horrible things like it looks like C-SPAN from C-SPAN. There's footage of Democrats in the House shouting no for a moment of prayer for Charlie Kirk. So even in his death, compassion can't be expressed there in our political forum. Which is so gross. Here's the thing I think people need to realize as well. Like the old paradigm of left and right is gone. The left is insane. Okay? They're insane. They want no police. They want anybody to be able to express themselves however they want. They want to butcher children's bodies. They are all for the pharmaceutical companies. They have gone insane. And then there's this other side of the right that is perfectly fine allowing corruption and capture of our three-letter agencies as well. So like there are new groups in town, if you will. I believe I'm one of them. I do not identify as a Republican. That's not a label. I went to a Republican meeting one time and I thought, oh my gosh, this is not for me. There was no concern for health. Natural health was poo-pooed and laughed at. So that's not my place. That's not my place. But I certainly hold more conservative values, right? I believe in the family, that's for sure. And I believe in freedom, especially when it comes to bodily autonomy. I'm against government corruption. I'm against the megacorp, as I call it. But I don't know what that means anymore because there's a whole lot of Republicans and conservatives that are just fine with the megacorp. Just so happens they're invested in it. So I think we can drop it. I think we can really drop this hatred, this division between both sides. We can continue to advocate for what we want to see more of in the world, but the extremists have taken over. And I don't think that's who we are. I don't think that is who the majority of Americans are. The majority is not the far crazy left. And it's not the corruption on the right either. It's much more common sense based. If there was a common sense party, that's where I would be sitting, because a lot of these Republicans, so-called conservatives, rhinos, as Rush used to call them, Republicans in name only, because they certainly don't act like it. What we knew the conservative movement to be. But I think Charlie Kirk was working on that and working on some of those things. I mean, he wasn't perfect. I didn't agree with everything that he advocated for and whatnot, but I didn't have to. And that's the news flash here. You don't have to, right? You don't have to agree with everything. Jason's got some footage from America's Voice, so let's go to that and see what they are saying.
With the same speed and fervor as it has been traveling along since its inception?
I think it's going to continue we're going to pause for a little bit here, and we're all going to pray a lot and remember Charlie, and then we're going to regroup in the near future. And when we regroup, I believe that we've got so many great leaders on board in this organization, young and old. We need to regroup, and we need to understand how this legacy continues stronger than ever before. And I believe that I'm not stopping. I'm not going to let this stop. And I believe the hundreds of investors and thousands and hundreds of thousands of kids, no way we're going to let this slow down.
Yeah, well, from your lips to God's ears, we got to make this even bigger and better and ride the wave that Charlie started for all of us and that you started.
Move to violence. And one thing I will say is that what I'd like to see is a very affirmative, aggressive movement from our law enforcement community to put this type of ideological or terroristic violence down hard. Violence can't be tolerated like this, and there has to be a
Chris, we want to stop you for a second. We have some news from the director of the FBI, Kash Patel. The subject of the shooting, the person believed to have been the shooter, has been taken into custody. This is about 2 minutes ago. Thank you to the local and state authorities in Utah for your partnership with @FBI. We'll provide updates when able. We just got that word from Kash Patel. That's a pretty quick turn on someone who probably left the scene, right?
I would imagine that person left the scene quickly, but again, with the FBI vast resources, they can bring in audio visual recognition, and they can bring in their vast investigative authorities and their skill and professionalism with our state and local partners and make sure that we can make that arrest like they did just now. Congratulations to the FBI and its partners on the arrest.
All right, Chris, we're going to go to the press conference. Thank you for joining us. The governor's just taken the stand. We're going to get you back on tomorrow. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, folks, we're going live to Governor Cox.
We'll be co-leading this criminal investigation to find this killer, along with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're working in unison with the County Sheriff's Office, the local police department, and the University Police Department, all of which have been very cooperative and fully engaged in this process. Shortly after the shooting, we did have a suspect in custody, George Zinn, but he was released from custody after we identified that he did not match the shooting suspect and was not an accurate person of interest. However, he has been booked into the county jail by Utah Valley University Police Department for obstruction of justice. We do still have an active investigation for the person of interest. This incident occurred with a large crowd around. There was one shot fired and one victim. While the suspect is at large, we believe this was a targeted attack towards one individual. This is a tragic moment in our state and in our country. As we heal, we encourage everyone who is struggling with news of the incident to call 988, our state mental health crisis line. In addition to that, our partners with the FBI will also be discussing other ways we can communicate through the public for tips and other information.
Okay, I'm kind of confused here. So we have somebody in custody for obstruction of justice. Is that the guy that they originally arrested there? Jason, do you have any clarity there? Because I'm not sure that they have somebody. I don't see anything else on X that says that they actually have somebody in custody.
Well, that was a live breaking news on America's Voice, or whatever it's called. So I'll look into it during the commercial break, and then I'll get some more info, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Because, I'm still seeing on Twitter here that the shooter is still at large, and it's unknown if these videos of the shooter on the roof shows the accurate shooter, I guess. So we're going to try to sort it out, give you something when we come back. We're going to go to break. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time. Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturallyinspiredradio.com/collagen. Did you know that medicinal mushrooms are excellent for pets? Take our preferred pet health products for joint health, skin health, antioxidant protection, sow health, anti-aging benefits, gut health, liver support, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure support, brain health, anxiety relief, respiratory health, endurance and strength, anti-fatigue, and much more. Available in easy-to-take treats, great tasting gravy, and our pet food blends.
Since adding mushroom dog food to my dog's diet, I've noticed a huge improvement in his energy and coat health. He's like a puppy again, even at 10 years old.
After starting my care on mushroom super sauce, her immune health and digestion have noticeably improved. She's more playful, and her fur has never looked shinier.
Learn how to get free shipping and how to join our monthly mushroom call. Text Tammy with questions or to order at 720-303-8868. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com/mushroom. That's naturallyinspiredradio.com/mushroom.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome back. Today we are focusing on expressing ourselves after this tragedy that's happened in Utah with the death of Charlie Kirk. It just seemed so irrelevant to talk about news stories about health when this has just transpired. Literally, like I think not even an hour before I came on to do the show, I heard the news about Charlie Kirk. Of course, it took some time to confirm that he did pass away due to the shots fired at him. One of the first people I thought of when I heard that Charlie Kirk had died was Candace Owens, because of course Candace is a very strong voice in the conservative movement, and she got her start with Turning Point USA. And back in 2017, she had joined Turning Point USA, and she served as his communication director until May of 2019. And then, she's gone on to do other things, but I know that they remained really close, and that's expressed here on Twitter. Just 2 hours ago, she just wrote, I can't process this. It was her tweet. And so there's going to be a lot of people that are just really shook right now. One, because they had a strong relationship with Charlie Kirk, but also you got to be thinking of yourself a little bit, like Greg Gutfeld said on Fox News there, he was outside a lot of pundits are inside, they work in studios, but Charlie Kirk was on the streets all the time. And that was his way. And certainly people are going to be thinking about being on stages with what's happened to Trump and what's now happened to Charlie Kirk. And it seems that conservatives are targeted. Let's go to some footage. It sounds like Jason has some footage of the shooter on the roof. So let's go to that so we can share that with you.
Getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying. He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in. And now he's right there. Just saying, just getting right up.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that.
Is very familiar looking to what happened with Trump, right? And it's, I don't know. I get fishy feelings already just with the whole performance of the fake arrest there. That, just reminiscent of other assassins that were arrested, handcuffed, and then the guy shouting, "Shoot me, shoot me." I don't know what that's all about. I'm sure it's going to take time to unpack everything, but that seems off to me. And so we'll see what transpires over the next few hours. I'm sure there's going to be more footage. There's going to be a lot of discussion, and we'll see how things fall out here in the next day or two. Of course, it's September 11th tomorrow, so that's something that I think we should all be on high alert about as well. Don't want to forget that there was a shooting in Colorado, right here in the state of Colorado at Evergreen High School today as well. Seems that 3 teenagers were wounded, and I don't have a status on the update of their conditions, but that also took place today. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Are we headed for a false flag? It's possible. It's possible. I'm telling you, there's a big announcement coming in mid-September, and it's got a lot to do with pharmaceuticals, as we've been talking about here. And nobody's talking about pharmaceuticals today, Nobody's talking about that today. And sometimes that's how these things work. I don't know. I'm not speculating. I'm just, being cognizant of that. Jason, do you have more clips for us?
Yeah, we'll keep going to some clips as I find them. I want to sort through them because there's some out there that are, of course, it's Twitter, right? So it's just like some of the people in the chat, right? They're just going to throw whatever they can at you to try to confuse you. But let me read some of Charlie's accomplishments, and then maybe we can go to some live footage. There's some shows out there that aren't really talking about it, which surprises me. They have it on their title or on their headline, but they're kind of getting into other news, which is just surprising because this could be a launch into something much bigger. And I just want people to really understand that. A lot of emotions out there, as I'm seeing in the chat. But some of Charlie Kirk's accomplishments: founder of Turning Point USA. At 18 years old in 2012, he co-founded Turning Point USA, conservative youth organization. Under his leadership, TP USA became a powerful force on college and high school campuses across the U.S. Kirk served not only as executive director of TP USA, but also led several affiliated entities, including Turning Point Action, etc. He was an author, and he included the books, including the Campus Battlefield, the MAGA Doctrine, and the College Scam. His media presence was vast. He hosted the Charlie Kirk Show and reached over 100 million people per month. So huge influence, right? He was 31 years old?
31 years old, yep. Yeah, there's some stuff here from MSNBC, of course. They're speculating that Charlie Kirk's shooting could have been a supporter shooting off their guns. I think I said that at the top of the show, which is, of course, ridiculous. I don't know how, the picture they paint of conservatives and people who are, pro-gun, pro-2A is just sickening to me. I live in rural America, and all my neighbors here, they all have guns and use guns, and nobody's shooting up in the air like idiots, in celebration. If you did something like that, within a large body of conservatives, they'd be the first ones to tell you that you're a moron, right? They'd be angry at you, because when your rights are constantly under a microscope and you could get them taken away at any time, because it's been a long time battle, to keep our gun rights in this country, you don't mess around. You don't tolerate people messing around, because any kind of messing around is just an excuse to take your rights away. It's kind of the same thing, when I'm talking about anti-vax data. It's like, if it's been verified by somebody like Bobby Kennedy or Children's Health Defense, you can believe it's true, because they go through it with a microscope, because they don't have any room to be wrong. Because all it takes is for them to be wrong one time, and look at what they did to Alex Jones, right? Alex Jones is right 99% of the time. He may get some things wrong once in a while, maybe 1% of the time, but then they blow that thing up and they use it as a reason to censor people, to litigate people, all kinds of things. So when you're under scrutiny, as much as people who talk about health or people that are conservatives are, you don't take any risks. You got to be sure before you talk about things. And it's just it's a crazy time. And some people on Twitter here are calling for the removal of the license of MSNBC, because they're being so ignorant apparently already, speculating and basically saying, he got what he deserved. In other words, Eric Trump says Charlie Kirk is a great friend, was a great friend and an amazing person. And they're praying for his family. Megyn Kelly, this is a few hours ago now, pray hard for Charlie. Russell Brand says, Lord, be with Charlie Kirk and his family. Lots of people speaking out, just prayers. I don't feel like it's set in yet. I don't feel like it's set in yet for a lot of people. So we can't possibly have know what's happened. And if we can confirm that they did arrest somebody, we will. But I still don't really see, that's the only source, Jason, that you had, that they had arrested somebody.
Yeah, so Kash Patel did post it on Twitter. They did get the guy. The guy was on the roof. They've confirmed that now. He was on the roof, shot from the roof of a building next to it. I got a quick video we could play before the last break in the last segment of the show. It's only about 25-30 seconds, but it shows Charlie handing out hats right before he gets on stage. So let's check that out.
Okay.
Right on. You got it.
It's so sad. So sad, because just minutes later, of course, his life was taken. I wonder if that was security standing around him. I wonder what level of security somebody like Charlie Kirk has to carry. I would assume it'd be pretty high, but I wonder. Again, think about this. You would assume that he'd be wearing a bulletproof vest and whatnot. So it just goes to show you, whoever was the shooter is probably likely a trained marksman, because they got him. They got him perfectly, didn't they? In their sights, to be able to end his life immediately. So interesting. I'm sure all that stuff is going to come out eventually, but this is going to change things for sure. This will change yet again. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. Did you know that medicinal mushrooms are excellent for pets? Take our preferred pet health products for joint health, skin health, antioxidant protection, cell health, anti-aging benefits, gut health, liver support, cholesterol regulation, blood pressure support, brain health, anxiety relief, respiratory health, endurance and strength, anti-fatigue, and much more. Available in easy-to-take treats, great tasting gravy, and our pet food blends.
Since adding mushroom dog food to my dog's diet, I've noticed a huge improvement in his energy and coat health. He's like a puppy again, even at 10 years old.
After starting my care on mushroom super sauce, her immune health and digestion have noticeably improved. She's more playful, and her fur has never looked shinier.
Learn how to get free shipping and how to join our monthly mushroom call. Text Tammy with questions or to order at 720-303-8868. Visit naturalinspiredradio.com/mushroom. That's naturalinspiredradio.com/mushroom.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturalinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio, save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturalinspiredradio.com.
We're back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. Just looking through social media here at the break, and there's footage here that Charlie Kirk was actually answering a question about rampant left-wing violence in America when he was shot today. So as he's answering the question, you can hear the crack of the rifle in this video from approximately 100 yards, and you just see the people start to scatter throughout. Looks like there's another report here. Don't know if this has any validity whatsoever, but somebody else is in the Utah area, it seems, and apparently there's some police activity at a home in Utah. So there's the home, the guy's filming from his home, and another home is completely surrounded by authorities. So I don't know what that's all about. It is a home that's just yards away from the UVU campus. So don't know about the validity of that, but still it's an active situation, and I'm sure we'll learn more. People are just, outraged, of course, and there's more footage emerging of the shooter actually seen running along the rooftop now. Just crazy times when people are being killed for their words. And we have to stop the rhetoric that is not based in reality. I know that there's a huge movement to blur the lines of virtual and reality, where we live in a world where virtually is where people want their reality to be, meaning they can use the language they want, they can be the form they want to be, they can pick their gender, they can be whoever they want to be there. And then that means that you can say things like your silence is violence, even though clearly that's not true. Silence is not violence. That's what's gotten us into this mess, when people, the rhetoric keeps getting heavier and heavier, and people really start to think like they are justified in their violent actions. And you're not. We got to get back to common sense. We've got to, I wouldn't be surprised, if Trump tweets or puts out something about the mainstream media today, because MSNBC is all over it. And essentially, it sounds like they're pretty much saying he got what he deserved, right? Because he was advocating for freedom and gun rights. So sad. The very shirt Charlie is wearing as his life was taken, and the words across his chest are freedom. And again, answering questions about radical left violence, gun violence in America. So will we ever know, why this occurred? I don't know, but I think there's going to be a lot of information coming out. Do we have any new footage, maybe from Fox News, Jason, that we can go to? I'm going to check my text line again. I know it's been getting a lot of text here during the show, so I'm going to go back to that as well. But any
we
footage?
have a couple clips from Twitter, right? So I could play a couple of those clips and stuff. We're almost done with the show, so a few minutes. But I could play some of these clips. Let's watch the one about the Democrats. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
Saying no or whatever. Here, let's go to that real fast.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise?
That's Lauren Boebert.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. 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 We will join prayer right after this, okay? What purpose is the gentlelady from Colorado?
It's kind of shocking to see, when something like this happens and life continues on, but he was a huge influence in the political sphere. And yet, it just seems, I don't know, is it just me? Does it feel like people don't have the proper reactions to things anymore? Because it feels like that way to me. It feels like, it's just bizarre. Sometimes the way I see people responding to things is bizarre. Like it's a horrible thing, whether you're on the left or on the right, a 31-year-old man that a lot of people know, 100 million people watched him. That's essentially a third of the country, almost, were tuning into him, and his life was taken in front of a huge audience in broad daylight. And he represents a good part of, the political, body of conservatives. And yeah, so like, it just, I don't know, am I weird? Like, it seems like it's weird that she would even have to ask for that. It seems like there would have at least been on recess or stopped things and said, hey, this is what's going on. But I don't know. I see that a lot nowadays. I see it a lot, that people don't have the appropriate response to things. And it is It is crazy. In the comments here, I'm seeing from Green Mountain Girl, between him and the Ukrainian model in the train, it feels like a match being lit. I would agree. Another comment here, prayers for his family and friends. These people are so evil. Yeah, it is. It does feel like a match is being lit, and it makes you a little tense knowing also that tomorrow is September 11th. September 11th tomorrow, which is, I think, a day, it's funny. Well, it's not funny, haha, but it's, I knew why. I'm booked out solid for assessments this week, really full schedule, except for on September 11th, and that just goes to show you, that as Americans, we still hold that day as something, it's a day that we don't like to be out and about on. We don't like to, and we live in the freest country in the world, supposedly, we got to start asking ourselves, like, we're building our own prison here with when we buy into narratives and when we become so divisive and when we accept rhetoric and propaganda over our very eyeballs and what our friends and neighbors even say. It's that blur between virtual and reality again. And we've experienced that really heavily over the last 5 years where, you can't barely connect with your own family member over an issue because their brain is completely controlled by the algorithm, and it's orange man bad, and take your shots and wear your mask, and conservatives evil, conservatives racist, conservatives, mean, conservatives want to take away your bodily autonomy, and all the BS that gets spewed. None of it's true. Most of the time, a lot of these people, you tell them something and it's actual data, actually, hey, I'm not even telling you. I'm just saying, like, look at the data here. Their head explodes. And I don't know what that is. Is that a liberal condition? Is it a mental illness? Are some people more susceptible to propaganda? I think so. Anyway, thanks for allowing me to talk about this today, this tragic incident, and prayers. And I can only imagine what Charlie Kirk's wife is going through right now. I'm sure we'll find out more, but thank you for joining me today for Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be back tomorrow right here at 3:00. See you then.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Nearly 40% of Americans struggle with a $400 emergency expense. An extra $300 a month can be the difference between stability and financial stress.
Are you feeling the pinch of rising expenses? Imagine what an extra $300, $500, or even $1,000 a month can do for you. Introducing a simple 3-step system designed to help you create a steady income without the overwhelm. Step 1, follow our easy-to-use plan. Step 2, take small, consistent actions. Step 3, stay motivated with weekly coaching designed to keep you on track and moving forward. Whether you're saving for a family vacation, paying down debt, or just looking for breathing room, this system is for you. You don't need special skills, just the desire to make change. Join a growing community of success stories today. Visit simpleincome.info or text 720-764-7448.